If I could run that mile over and over again, like I would. I was like tearing up. Like it is the coolest experience ever, like running down that last mile. 32,000 people that run it. There's people talking different languages. People literally flew here from all around the world to run this marathon.
Why did you decide to run the biggest marathon on the planet, Boston Marathon?
You know, there's really no rhyme or reason behind me choosing to run the marathon. I think I ran in high school. I ran track and also played soccer. So I did 3 seasons of sports. And so after I graduated, I was like, I'm finally done. No more sports, no more working out. Like, I'll have free time in college. It's going to be so awesome.
Psych, never mind.
Yeah. I was like, I'm so bored. So I play club soccer here and was like, this is perfect, just enough. I'll have it like the season in the fall, and then I can relax in the winter and spring. I guess I'm a busybody because I was like, I can't sit still. So I started running, and I think there's definitely a big running community here at BC. And so I'd go for runs with my friends around the res. I feel like the res definitely was a big part of it. I just like, with everything going on, schoolwork, I feel like it was easy just to go out and like do a quick run around the res. And so I really enjoyed doing that. And then last year running the Boston Marathon, crazy different, or not running the Boston Marathon, watching it. Different experience, actually. Funny story, I ended up on stage with Flo Rida last year.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. So,
you are not on Musty. You are not on a dance team here.
No,
How
no.
did you do that?
I somehow pushed my way to the front of the crowd and was just, like, making eye contact with the background dancers. And so when they brought people up on stage, he was like, come up, like, pulled me out of the crowd and was on stage. Yeah. So I was like, how do I top it this year? No, I was like,
just don't go to the concert at all. Do something else.
But so did that, took a major nap after that, and then woke up and was like, I need to actually watch the runners. So went and watched, and it was like the slow people, like at the end, like very tired. And so I was like, this is so cool. I was crying for these strangers. Like, this is so awesome. And so I was like, the next day I woke up and ran 10 miles. Like, I had been running a little bit before then, but I was like really inspired, I guess, is the way to put it. And so did a half marathon when I got home after spring freshman year, and then was like, I think the Boston Marathon is something I'd want to do during my time at BC. I feel like 26.2 miles is really hard. And so I was like, the only way I'm going to do it is if I have my friends that are cheering me on. And so I feel like having all your friends at mile 21 is the optimal way to do a marathon. And so kind of explained I wanted to go abroad my junior year. And so I would have been gone in the spring and missed the Boston Marathon my junior year. And then I was like, senior year, I just want to have fun with my friends and not be training. So I was like, sophomore year seems to be the only time that it would work. So I started applying to the charities because I personally could not qualify. I'm not ever going to run that fast in my entire life.
I don't think anyone at this school could. There's very few.
No, impossible. So I started applying to different charities because you have to apply and then get the charity bib and raise the money for the charity. And so I was applying. And the more I applied, the more I wanted to do it just because I'm so competitive. Like, I'd get rejected and be like, kind of want to do it even more. And so then my roommate was also doing it. And then my roommate got a bib. She got into a charity and was going to run.
You were like, oh, fuck no, bitch.
I was like, okay, now I have to do it. I'm like so competitive. Like, I wasn't getting in. Then my roommate got it. I was like, I got to do it. So then I kept applying, finally got a call from this lady. She's like, yeah, I've seen you apply to a lot of different charities from Charities Team. Like, you really want to run, right? And I was like, yeah. And she's like, okay, I have a spot on the Boston Public Library team. And I was like, okay, awesome.
Oh, I just went there for the first time 2 weeks ago. It is beautiful.
Okay.
That library is gorgeous.
Yeah,
that's
so,
a good group to run for. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that because I've actually never been to
You need to go. You need to go.
It's so fake. Yeah. Hopefully they don't see this, but I've never
I'm going to send it to their email and make sure they see it.
Yeah,
You're welcome.
I'd love to run. You know, I'd go there to study. Like, I was gassing them. I've never been. So yeah, and so then I got it and had to I got the bib, and they're like, okay, you have to raise $10,000, which was the next step in this. But I mean, that's the long-winded story of how I decided to run this.
To run the Boston Marathon. So is there a set group of organizations you can run for, or is it whatever's willing to back you?
Great question. Again, I think that these different charities get a certain number of bibs they can give out, and then they kind of assign like the amount of money you have to raise for them. So like my roommate was running for Bay Cove, and so she only had to raise like 7,500. So I think they get a certain number of spots they can give out, and then they choose like the threshold of money you have to raise to run for them.
Okay. That's interesting, because I figured it's not like every charity in the world can just back a runner.
No, I think they have to do something to get it, because I think it's pretty competitive because there's only so many spots. Because like Boston, I think is like a thinner course, so.
Thinner as in less people on it?
Yeah, like I don't think they could fit. Like I know that this year there was a big thing where people that qualified, they lowered the time. So like maybe, I don't know how many people qualified, but they had to cut like 2,000 Boston qualifiers, like the professional people.
Oh, really?
Because there wasn't enough space on the course.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wait a second.
Yeah.
So it's not. So they prioritize fundraise. That makes sense, actually.
Yeah.
If I think about it a little bit, it does make sense. They prioritize the people paying them to be there.
I don't know who they decide to cut, but
that's really interesting.
Yeah.
How many qualifiers are there compared to people that like you? They get backed by a charity that are running.
I want to say, for some reason, I want to say it's 15. Like there's like maybe 33,000 or 32,000 people that run it. I want to say it's somewhere.
Oh my God.
Yeah, a lot of people. Yeah, if you have claustrophobia, do not run this.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know. I want to say it's like somewhere, maybe because there's also then the para division and like.
Right.
So. And then, like I want to say it's like maybe even split.
You think so? Okay.
I don't know.
That's
10,
so fair.
10,
okay.
20. I don't know.
Because I know a lot of people, like we were saying earlier, specifically people, college students, people in the school, stuff like that, that run it are like raising money. So,
yeah.
I mean, maybe, obviously, there's every professional runner is trying to do this race.
Yeah.
So I completely see that. Did you train, other than with your roommate, with other people at this school? Because like we were saying earlier, so we interviewed Matt Razik, who's in OSI a couple months ago, and he does like huge running groups of people that are doing the marathon and just different races in the area, and they just run together, and that's it. And he loves doing that. Did you train with other people at school?
So no.
Okay, so you wanted to keep to yourself, and all right, fine.
Yeah,
that's fine. No community. It's fine.
Yeah, no, I suck. No, I like running alone. I feel like it's like when you're like around people all the time at school. Like I feel like I'm around my roommates. It's like my one time to be alone, like listen to music. So like I like to run alone. I mean, I know people that need other people to run. So I did like a lot of my shorter runs I did alone, and then my longer runs I do with just my roommate. But I feel like it's almost harder to like keep pace with other people. I feel like I'd be stressed about like getting tired and like slowing the whole group down or something. So I was like, did most of it alone.
Okay, got it. There is something nice about just kind of like being by yourself. I realize that now. Last year, not so much, but when you live with 7 other people, it quickly becomes a real thing. I remember you wanted to go to Chipotle last night, and then you just like stayed in bed. So I went anyway, and I just walked back. So peaceful. The reservoir. And we live in a really nice area for those runs too. Did you use the reservoir most of the time?
Yeah, I would do the res a lot. I do a lot of my shorter runs there, like maybe 5 or 6, and then after 4 laps, it kind of gets
redundant.
Yes. So we would actually go down Heartbreak and then back up it. Like we did a lot of, maybe our 10 milers would just go down Heartbreak, go up it. We thought it's a really nice route to run because there's this bike lane that runs like parallel to the street, so you don't have to like watch out for the cars. And if you're running alone, it's definitely safe because it's like a main road, but also like really great for running. And then we got to do Heartbreak a ton of times in our training, which was definitely super helpful when it came to race day. 20 miles deep. Yes. But that was nice.
And where did you tend to go for the longer runs there? Did you ever do like marathons leading up to it or half marathons or anything like that?
Yeah, I did 2 halves. So like I said, I did the 10 miles after Marathon Monday last year. And so I was like, if I can do 10, I can do 13. So I signed up for one in May in New Jersey where I live. And so I did that. And then I did the Cambridge half in the fall and was like, that was such a great environment too. Just because I feel like it's kind of the same crowd. Like like I said, there's such a big running community here. So the crowds there was so awesome, and I was like, if there's this much crowd for a half marathon, like imagine
the Boston Marathon.
Yeah,
imagine the Boston Marathon.
Yeah, so those were the 2 halves I did leading up to this.
Okay, and what did the training regimen actually look like? Was it a certain split each week that you followed, or you switch it up?
Yeah, so my charity sent me a training plan that I followed.
Ooh,
yeah,
nice.
Yeah, it was nice.
All right.
So I really tried to follow that. I was like, I don't trust myself to like make up my own thing. Like, so I really followed that. It was maybe 2 easy runs a week, which was like 4 to 6, 5 to 7 as we got closer to the race. And then started at maybe 8 miles as the long run, all the way up to 20 was my longest run.
Okay.
And so it was like 2 of those, and then on the weekend, a long run. 2 easies, and then a long every week.
Okay. And was it every single day that you were doing it, or is it like 3 times a week, 4 times a week?
I ran like 3 or 4 times a week. Okay. I feel like it gets a little tiring when you're running that much, so I was like...
Like a little bit. Yeah. Like, it's like high school again.
Yeah, I ended up working out less while training, because I was like, I'd do my runs, and it was like, every other day is an off day. Like,
yeah, that is fair. That is so fair. Did you run in high school, too?
Yes. So I ran track in high school, but I did the 400 and 400 hurdles, which is quite a bit shorter than this.
A little bit. Yeah. A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, so that was the max I did. I mean, I did the mile a few times, but I did soccer. I was saying how I got into running. My dad forced me to run when I was really little because loved soccer, loved playing, but it was so out of shape as like in elementary school, like when I was in like 2nd grade. He's like, you're going to cry when you get no playing time, and so you should probably run if you want to play soccer. And so I started running with my dad for soccer, and then would just kind of run with him over the summer and out of season. And so there was a 3-mile loop by my house, and that's primarily what I did in high school.
Okay. Soccer's so exhausting. So exhausting.
Yeah.
I did it like 1 year. It's the most tiring sport I've ever tried. You're just running for 90 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, that's it.
No, it's so much running. It's sometimes you don't even like touch the ball, and you're just running, maybe when your team's bad, but you're running up, and then you're running back, and then it's a lot of running.
Right. It's also crazy how much cross-sport stuff is going on here. It's not like everyone that does this marathon is a runner. You know, you have a lot of people that just want to do it for their own sake, but also like do other sports, and like, I can do that.
Yeah.
Easy. I can do that.
Yeah.
But like, which is crazy to think about. It's not like they just have 35,000 runners in Boston. They've just got people from all over the place coming in. It's really cool to see that.
It was so weird. I forgot that there was people from other countries coming to run this. So we
really,
yeah. Like I kind of like was just in my own world going like I did not think about it or
no.
I was thinking like if I like think about it a lot, I'm gonna get myself so nervous, and so I just kind of didn't think about it the week leading up to it and just showed up. Like they bus you out from Boston on race day, so they have all these buses going from like Copley Square, I don't know how you say it. No one canceled me.
You really don't know Boston. You've really never been to Boston.
Nope.
Damn.
No. But busing you out all the way to Hopkinton for the start, and so we're waiting in line for the bus, and there's people talking different languages. It's like I just totally forgot. Like people literally flew here from all around the world to run this marathon. I was like, that's so cool. Like I just totally forgot.
Like? It was that must have been a melting pot situation right there.
Yeah.
You realize how many different types of people are here.
Yeah, it was so cool because I feel like everyone was super supportive. Like there was people that had the Abbott World Marathon things on their bib. I guess it's the 6 world marathons, and so people were like, Boston's their 6, and they had those on their back, and so we were like, that's so cool. Like this was going to be their last. Like they were going to have run all the big world marathons, and we'd be like, that's so cool. Like, are you super excited to run your 6th world marathon? And they'd be like, yeah. Like, what about you? It's your first. Like everyone was so like supportive. They giving us tips on the bus. Like it was just such a big community. Like I feel like it wasn't like for anybody that like ran track or did like sports in high school, it's like you're super competitive. Like you would never talk to someone that you're like running against or like
bunch of aggressive assholes.
Yeah. But here everyone was like trying to help you. They're like, oh, do you want like a bite of my bar? Or like, do you want like this piece of bread, extra piece of bread? Or like, can I borrow this? It was like super cool, and everyone was just like super helpful to each other.
Did that switch at all when you get to the starting line, or no?
No. Literally walking up, me and my roommate ran the whole thing together. And so walking up, it's actually so weird. The start is so anticlimactic. It's like crazy. You get to the athletes village, like that's where the buses drop you off in Hopkinton, and then it's like a 0.7 mile walk to the start line. And so everyone starts leaving athletes village, and you're walking down the streets towards the start line, and you're walking and walking. It's like such a long walk, and because it's so crowded and everyone's kind of like super like jammed up. And so one lady was like, we're like, are we gonna get to the start? And she was telling us, she's like, yeah, like be warned, like she's like, it's nothing special at the start, like you're just gonna walk through and then you're just gonna start running because there's so many people. They can't be like ready, set, go. So you just kind of, you're walking there chit-chatting, like people were offering to like take pictures or like whatever until you just get to the start, and then everyone just like turns on their watch and starts running.
Okay. I assume they've got the people at the front doing that. Did they do different waves?
There's supposed to be like different corrals. Like, so our wave, I think I forget what it is, but maybe it's like the wheelchair division is wave 1, and that starts at like 9 o'clock.
Yeah, because they are fast in those wheelchairs. They're like race wheelchairs. It's crazy.
Yeah,
we miss those. You didn't see those.
Exactly. Well, they also start so early, and then it's the professionals maybe right after them, or sometime at like that's the second wave. Those are the first 2, and then it's like the qualifiers is wave 3 at maybe like 10 something.
Okay.
And then it's the people running for charity, and that's wave 4. And they split you up by different like corrals. It's supposed to be like 1 through 8 just to separate people, but when you're all walking in, that didn't happen. Like, we all just mobbed the star line.
Mobbed the star line.
Yeah.
And I assume the bib tracks you anyway, so it's not really okay.
Yeah, because it starts when you cross like the start line. It's like whatever the chip is. So there's really no point in like rushing to the start. Like, it only starts when you cross. So.
Right. At that point, honestly, you have a reason to like chill out and wait a second.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah, got you.
Yeah.
Speaking of tracking the bibs, the app is awesome. I don't know if you said you haven't looked at it yet.
I hadn't looked at my splits yet at all.
But the app is so cool. Like, we were waiting for Jack Griffin, Will's buddy.
Yeah.
And we were like looking at him on the map, and I was just like, shit. Like, I thought we were just gonna be waiting there for hours, but no, we just walked outside. He was there. So.
It's so accurate.
It's awesome.
I was like, my parents came to watch it, and I was like, they're totally gonna miss me. And it was right on the dot. Like, they were there. My dad would be like, we're at mile 14.4. You're gonna be there in 20 minutes. 20 minutes later, I'd be there.
Thanks, Dad.
I was like, thanks.
Help me out.
Yeah. So it was awesome. It was so accurate and like really helped. It's so nice because like the people watching you are going to be there when you expect them, which is great because I don't think I could have done it without people cheering me on.
Right. I mean, we were standing at that mile 21, as with everyone at BC. We're standing at the mile 21 mark. And people would run by, and at that point, the Heartbreak Hill, people are stopping, like, drinking their water, tying their shoes up for a second. And that one guy, remember that one guy that stopped right in front of us? He was just like, y'all are fucking awesome. He was like, we could not get to this point. I was like, I just hammered and went to a T-Pain concert. But yeah, you're welcome. Yeah. You're welcome. I can help you out. But yeah, no, having that crowd, I'm sure, was huge.
Yeah,
huge benefits. Were there other points in the race that there were crowds like that?
Yeah, I feel like the colleges were like the place that really was like the most exciting. I think it was Wellesley College is maybe at mile, like, it's in the beginning, like 7 or 8, and like that was awesome. There was so many people there, and I feel like I didn't really know there was a college there, so all of a sudden we just get there and there's just a bunch of kids. I'm sure they were hammered. They were like, "Let's go," and I'm like, "Let's go!"
Yeah,
like,
damn straight, let's go.
Yeah, and so that was awesome. And then there were crowds the whole way. I mean, some of them were a little bit more mellow, like families and stuff, and then Mile 21's definitely the best. Like, obviously BU is in the city, but Mile 21's like crazy. Like, that's when everyone is cheering. Like, I feel like the other places, like, there's people watching and they're like, "Let's go." But like Mile 21, you feel like everyone's just like screaming at you and you're like, I have to keep running. Like, everyone's yelling at me.
Right. And that's supposed to be the most exhausting part, right?
Yeah, I feel like Heartbreak Hill has like, definitely has, what's that? Stigma, or not stigma, like a reputation for being the hardest part. And so
it is up a fucking hill.
It is, but it's like rolling hills. Like, Heartbreak's the last one, but like, I think the start of the rolling hills is the worst. It's like not a slight incline. It's like a pretty decent incline, but for so long you're just like, when am I going to get to the top of this first one? And then it's just kind of rolling, and like at least Heartbreak, you're like, when I get over this, it's like downhill.
Right.
But the start of it, it's because it starts maybe it's like a mile and a half of rolling hills, so you're like at the start of the first hill and you're just like, how am I going to do this for a mile and a half?
I mean, that's the mental part coming in right there. Obviously, you're way more tired at the end of the 21st mile, but I totally remember that from when I ran. That was just so trying to get up that first hill.
The anticipation of it, too. You're just like, from maybe 16, from like 15 on, you're just like, I know the hill's coming up.
It's coming.
I know the hill's coming up.
Come on, here it is.
Yeah.
Did that come into play at any point? Like the mental aspect of it, where you got to a certain point and you were like, I can't do this. I cannot do this anymore.
Like, no, honestly, I feel like it's so much easier doing it the day. For me personally, I know other people have different experiences, but like running 20 miles. So sadly, I ran 20 miles after spring break, which was not my best decision ever.
Okay.
Super hungover, super tired, no sleep, 2 flights. And so that might have been the worst I've ever felt in my entire life. Like, it hurt so bad, and I did it alone because my roommate was still, like, at home. And so I was running this 20 miles all alone, like, hurting so bad. And so that's when I was like, I want to give up right now. But day of, I feel like our parents were great. Me and Elizabeth, my roommate's parents, watched together, and I feel like they picked really good points to come watch us at, because first 7-10 miles, like, at least you're feeling good, you're fresh. For this one, not so much, just because it was so hot, but, like, you're kind of, like, feeling fresh legs, like, your whole body's not hurting yet. And so you get to maybe 10, and you're like, okay, the halfway point's up, like, 3 more miles, right. Like, I can do that, I can get to halfway. And then halfway, there's a huge crowd. And so then me and my roommate's parents were at 15, so we got to halfway, and they were like, okay, 15. Like, we can get to 15 and see our parents. And then 15, you're just kind of like, that's when I feel like it mentally got tough, because you're like, 6 more miles till the
mob,
to the mob, like, till BC, and I have all of Heartbreak in front of me, but I feel like you just kind of have to do it, like, mile by mile. So it was like, okay, just get to the start of Heartbreak and there'll be a huge crowd, and then it's like, just get to the top of this hill. Like, I feel like you can't think about how much you have left. You kind of have to do those different, like, checkpoints, like, okay, got to make it to half, got to make it to 15, got to make it to 21, and then 21 onward is just so amazing. Like, I think that was my favorite part of the race, which is the end, so it should hurt the most. But, like, after 21, you have so much adrenaline. Like, I had so much adrenaline after seeing all my friends, and, like, everyone was cheering for me. And then you take a turn onto whatever that last road is that you're, again, I don't know Boston that well, but you take a turn and...
Copley.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I don't even know what it is. But then you have all these crowds, and you have the BU students and, like, all those colleges, like, right in Boston. You have all the young kids, and then as you get towards the finish, it's, like, packed streets of people just, like, cheering and, like, screaming at you. And so it's, like, I feel like 21 onwards was so fun because you're just so close at that point.
Right. Where does it end? What was that environment like? Describe that at the end, too.
That was so awesome. So it actually ended in front of the Boston Public Library this year, because there's...
Look at that. I know. So you have been to the library.
Inside, maybe not. But, no, yeah. It was awesome because... So you had to pick up your bib in Boston, so you got to see the finish line ahead of time.
Mm.
And so it's like, maybe you're going... I forget what street names are... bad, but, like,
just
you're going down a street,
and
then you take a right, then you take a left, and then you see the finish line. It's like it's like, I was, like, tearing up. Like, it is the coolest experience ever, like, running down that last mile. Like, 25 to 26.2, like, the crowds are just nonstop yelling at you. Like people are just so proud, and they don't even know who you are. It's, like, insane. Like, it was the best experience ever. Like, if I could run that mile over and over again, like, I would. It's so cool.
Imagine a marathon with just the ending 26 times.
Yeah.
That'd be nice.
I could run that. I could run those. Nice? That would be nice.
Wouldn't that be awesome? Maybe Tech will get us there someday. So what about your goals for this marathon? So, I mean, Will has the app now, so we can find this information now. But what were you hoping to do? Did you have a number in mind, or?
I said 4:15, 4:20. It was like realistic, optimistic goal. Like, I feel like everyone says, like, 4 hours is, like, a time to break for an average person for a marathon, but, like, that wasn't going to happen. I feel like, first off, that was not even realistic for my athletic abilities at this point. But also, like, I feel like I didn't want to set, like, too hard of a goal of what I wanted to hit, because I wanted to, like, take my time with my friends, and, like, didn't want to worry about, like, taking off again and, like, not being able to, like, hug my parents when I saw them, or, like, talk to my friends when I saw them at 21. So I thought that was, like, a realistic time that, like, I also didn't want to be running for much longer than that.
That was just all I could take.
Yeah. So that was my goal. And so I guess we hit the back end of that goal. I think 4:20 and change.
Yeah, she ran a 4:20 in 35 seconds.
Woo!
Yeah.
Look at that. At the end of the day, it is for you. You know, you shouldn't be setting a crazy goal unless, you know, that's for something you need to do. I'm sure Gio's goal was like, I'm going to break 2 hours or some bullshit.
Which is
but yeah, no, it is for you. It is.
Yeah.
How does it feel afterwards now that you have nothing to look forward to for the rest of the year?
Boring. Yeah, I don't know. Talk to me in a few days. I feel like now I'm, like, still getting the hype. Everyone's like, congrats. And I'm like, yep.
Yeah, bring it. Keep it rating. We're not done yet.
Yeah, no, it's definitely, I felt super good after, definitely tired, but it was, like, so relieving to be finished. And I feel like I had the runner's high for maybe an hour, got back to my dorm, showered. I'm like, okay, Mom, Dad, like, bring over some pizza, bring over champagne. And then they went maybe an hour, like, went back, got the food, got the champagne. And then I was like, they came back and I was
asleep
on the couch. I was like, my head hurts so bad. Like, I can't speak. Like, I need to go to bed. And so that's how I've been feeling since.
Damn. No, I can imagine.
Yeah.
And how did it, so you already described Heartbreak Hill a little bit, but describe what it was like seeing your friends. And so, like, at a critical point in that race.
Yeah, that was awesome. So they were probably towards the end of mile 21. So I actually had, so like I said, I'm on club soccer. I think I said that earlier. But the club soccer team, there was 3 people on boys and girls club soccer running it. So they made T-shirts with all of our faces on it. And they were, like, right at the beginning of mile 21, which is so awesome. Like, I see, like, my 2 friends on club soccer sticking their head out, like, waving, jumping, and I'm like, get so excited, like, give them the biggest hug, was hugging all of them. And then I ran a little bit more, and then my roommates were at the back end of mile 21, and it was like my entire friend group, and like that was just amazing. Like, I see my face on a fat head, like, had so many signs. Like, it was the most amazing experience. Like, you could tell how proud they were of us, and it was just so awesome, like, seeing them. And like, you just get, like, that's like probably the most emotional part, is just like seeing how proud the other people are. Like, you're so tired, and there's like, it just gives you this burst of energy. Like, there's pictures of me and I'm like smiling so big. Like, it just was such a relief to see them there and like see them supporting you.
Smiling huge 22 miles into a marathon is crazy.
No,
it must be a crazy picture to look at in
yeah,
hindsight.
no, I'm like, how was I so happy? I'm like, yeah, but that was awesome. I mean, it just definitely gives you like the motivation to keep going. And I feel like I've been thinking about it, but I'm like, I don't know how people ran this marathon without having, like, being at BC. Like, I feel like the only thing that really got me through was like, I just have to get to mile 21. Like, I have to get to mile 21 and see my friends.
Fuck 26.
Yeah.
Like,
we're
going to 21.
I was like, well, I told all these people I'm running. Like, I better make it to 21 because I've been talking about this forever.
Way more important to get there than finish this race.
Yes.
Forget about the race.
Yeah. No, honestly, that was my mindset.
Yeah. It's awesome BC made Marathon Monday such a big deal.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have any idea, either of you guys. I don't know when this became a thing. Like, when they started getting huge washed 2000s artists to come and perform. But it's awesome that they did that.
I honestly think it might have been only a few years ago.
Okay.
Because I think it's because they didn't want us interfering with the professionals.
We doing some Google searching?
Yeah. Keep talking.
No, I feel like I want to say it was like maybe 3 or 4 years ago that they started it, like with the artists and stuff.
Yeah, Jason Derulo was like the kickoff, and then everything's been downhill from there.
Yeah.
But no, it is awesome, though.
Yeah.
It is awesome, though.
I heard T-Pain wasn't great, so I'm not sad I missed that one.
It's T-Pain.
No, it was garbage. It was actual garbage. Don't give him any credit. It was garbage.
I was standing with you the whole time. You were just like...
yeah.
At that point, we've been up for like 5 hours, and none of us were like excited to be there. But anyway, Bayou Drank was nice.
Yeah.
So that is good. So when did you run by BC? Like, were you around the concert time, or was that?
No.
Okay.
Far after. I think maybe 2:45, 3 was when I passed BC.
Got you. Oh, we were out there. I'm sorry. We were out there right then.
Yeah. So definitely super far after.
Yeah.
T-Pain went on. What was that? 10 o'clock. I'm like,
no idea.
My roommates were like Snapchatting me. They're like, at T-Pain, and you guys haven't even started yet. Like, I was like, okay, like, calm down.
Yeah. All right,
like,
calm yourself. One of us is doing something important. The other one's running 26 miles. What? All right, what's to say? No idea.
No idea.
No idea.
I think it started with Jason Derulo because I'm not getting anything other than Jason Derulo, Flow Ride, and T-Pain.
Yeah.
It's a nice tradition, though. It is a nice tradition, though, especially that it was this weekend. There's so much going on this weekend. Yeah. Did you indulge in any of that, or you were just like, no, we're running on Monday. We've got stuff to do?
I sadly did not. I mean, I watched the hockey games, which was nice. I didn't go to Showdown. Sorry, I had to prioritize the hockey.
It's fine.
I had to I had to watch the hockey game.
Jesus, ow!
So loud.
It's fucking loud.
Yeah. But yeah, we were. Oh, and I also went to the spring game for a little bit.
Okay.
So
How did that look?
I have no idea.
Okay.
You can ask my dad. We took him there, and we actually left him. Me and my mom went to the bookstore and bought BC merch, but He said that we looked good, so
okay.
I'll trust him on
Bill
that.
O'Brien doing his job, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. No, it was a great weekend.
Yeah.
Capped off with a great event.
Yes.
That's for sure. And I know that the hype around BC was, even despite the hockey game loss, was huge.
Yeah.
Everybody was really, actually, the hockey game loss might have helped people get more drunk on Mondays. But it was definitely a great weekend, topped up by a great event. But so did your roommates, I'm gonna ask about like the roommates now, did they stay out there the entire time, or was like, what's the vibe around what y'all were up to?
I think they did. I think they went to the concert. They got food, probably helped sober them up. And then
no, they're not 21.
What? And then they found a spot. I think they were out there for maybe an hour before I passed. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that checks out. Maybe they took a quick nap after the concert and then came back out there.
Typical BC experience.
Yeah.
Typical BC experience.
So the typical, but.
Yeah. And what about, so you described BU too. Do they do anything similar to this, or they just stand out there and scream?
Like, I didn't even know it was, like, I wouldn't have known it was BU unless I was like from Boston, but like you can tell like the crowd's a lot younger, like it's college kids. And then I actually, so random, I have a neighbor from my hometown in New Jersey that goes to BU grad school, and I'm like looking at the crowd, and I'm like, Kathleen? And it's my neighbor from home, and I'm like we didn't know she was in the crowd, and she's like, Hailey, and I was like, no way.
I'm running. What are you doing, Kathleen?
I was like, that's crazy. Like, I was like, but I know she goes to BU, so I was like, that's definitely the right area.
Can you say that one more time, what you said into the mic? You didn't know BU was a college until... No, just say that into the mic. You just say they suck. Into the college, yeah.
Yeah, sucks to be you.
All right, clip that. But so how many colleges were along that route? You mentioned Wellesley, too. There's like 5 or 6?
There has to be. I mean, Wellesley was like so distinct because it was just like rural town, college kids, rural town. And then I feel like from BC onwards, it was definitely a younger crowd of people, because I feel like in the beginning it was like a bunch of families, you could tell, and like young kids. That was another thing. In the beginning, high-fived so many babies, because there was so many like little kids from families that would like they'd count how many high fives they could get.
We were doing that.
So I could make it I made it my goal to like high five as many of them as I could. But then afterwards, it was like all like people in their 20s, like in Boston, past BC. It was like definitely a younger crowd. I don't know what other colleges there are, and besides BU and like Northeastern, I guess, was probably there too.
Right. Yeah. So talk about the starting line a little bit more. I'm interested. So did you get close to any of these, like the qualifiers, the big names, anything like that?
No. So I think they went off while I was still busing to the start line.
Okay.
So yeah, I saw some people. I don't know. There was different. Third wave had blue bibs, so I think those were the people that must have qualified. I'm guessing. Mm-hmm. So I saw a few of them, but they were like the stragglers. I don't know why they were still at the athletes' village when I got there, but. So they probably went off at like 10-something. So I saw a few of them that were probably going to the back of like that wave, but mostly it was just the charity runners.
Okay, got you. Yeah, it's would have been really cool, honestly, to get really close. Like, pull up that list real quick on the phone, because I know it has like a top finishers thing too.
Oh, it does.
And I was looking at this, and this guy was running like a 4:09 pace or something like that.
Crazy.
Absolutely insane.
Well, me and my roommates were talking about that. I'm like, these people are running marathons. Like, that's like not even possible for a girl, but like the girls that like win these marathons or even like compete in the professionals, like run 26 miles faster than I could run one, or like even a lap. Like, it's crazy. It
is actually insane. Oh, you look like
Sisse Lemma ran a 2:06.
Jesus Christ!
At a 4:49 pace.
4:49.
Is that even possible?
I can't even break a 6-minute mile. Probably not right now. Oh,
holy shit.
That is crazy. I know Kipchoge broke the 2-hour marathon a couple years ago.
Yeah.
I don't know if y'all saw that. And that was insane. And he had these crazy shoes on that are banned from racing, apparently, to do it. And he had 6 dudes around him breaking the wind and a pace car. It was insanity.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's crazy what these guys are capable of.
Well, it's like I'm trying to break 2 hours in my half marathon, and he's doing that for a marathon. I'm like, that's crazy.
No, it is absolutely insane. And these people are just built different. It's actually insane what some people are capable of doing. Are we running out of time?
We are at 34.
Okay, we got one more. We got time for 2 more minutes. It's okay. No, but it is actually insane what those people are doing. Are you planning on trying to do any other marathons now that you've done this? Like, I know New York is super nearby, and they've got like Chicago Marathon. Like, what are the big 6? Just one in Berlin or something. Do you have plans on trying any of those other ones?
I feel like I'm gonna knowing myself, I'm gonna want to. Not anytime in the future. I feel like I want to live in New York after college, so I feel like that might be a time when I'm too poor to have a gym membership and can only run. Maybe then.
Yeah, no,
but
that would definitely be cool.
Definitely not in the near future. I plan on.
Yeah, take your time.
Rest
for a minute.
Yeah.
Would you? Yeah, rest for a minute. Yeah, what is it? So Boston, Berlin. I was right, Berlin. New York, Chicago, London, Tokyo would be sick. That would be a sick marathon to run.
Yeah.
But no, I'm sure New York has got to be crazy too. From what I'm understanding, though, Boston is the big one. Clearly the big one.
Yeah.
And the crowd is insane, and that's something you can't top.
I don't. I feel like it was such a cool experience. Like, I feel like nothing's gonna compare to it. So I'm like, I've done one.
You made a mistake. You started the best.
Yeah.
You started the best one.
Because people always I feel like a lot of people end with this one, and so I'm like, I just feel like I'm going to be disappointed by the crowds at any other marathon, so I don't know.
Something to think about.
Yeah.
Anyway, we are out of time, but thank you so much for coming, Hailey.
Thanks for having me.
And I don't know if typically the people we have on have something to pitch. I don't think you have anything to pitch, but I don't know. Fucking Instagram handle?
Hailey Pataki. I would say donate to my marathon page, but that's over, so.
Donate to the Boston Public Library, which you've never been to. Thanks so much for coming.
Thank you again.
And send them off, Will.
All right, thank you to our listeners. Until next time.
Thanks for listening, and a huge thank you to the whole Dean's List team. Ethan Foreman, Teddy Crowther, and Nick Vittoria on marketing, Mariam Abdel-Halim on promotional creation, Ben Haddad on editing, Lena Gerster for executive production, and Will Glyman for being the best button pusher I could ask for. Thanks again, and until next time.